Welcome to another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie out there, my man G Witt. Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up, baby.
Tighten up,
Tighten
tighten
up.
up.
Tighten up.
Another week, another important football game, another chance to get double-digit wins since first time since 2008, and potentially lock up the division if the Colts will lose today. But the main thing is to win this game and keep playoff position as it is intact.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so coming into this game, we talked about a few things last week, Grover. What the Titans needed to do, and for the most part they did it. The formula was easy: run Derrick Henry till you ran him to death, pretty much, and then play action off of that. You saw how the offense took advantage of that early on in this football game.
Absolutely. I mean, when you go back and look at it, and again, offensively, they did great. They were aggressive the entire time. Arthur Smith pulled no punches. Basically, he wasn't trying to be cute. He started off running the ball with Derrick Henry, play action pass. Tannehill was efficient. A.J. Brown had some good catches on that first drive, and they went right down the field on him, really, and scored a touchdown real quick. And then, of course, our defense allowed Detroit to come right back down. But then on the next possession, one play, 75 yards, Corey Davis, touchdown. So, yeah, I mean, really, in all honesty, man, when you look at this team, the only way to summarize this team is basically just to say that we got a top 5 offense with a bottom 5 defense.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate it's that way, and we know that we've beat that horse to death over the last few weeks or so, and so we kind of want to just talk about some other aspects of the game, even though we know the defense is it is what it is at this point. And one thing you did like is you saw Dory play today, and he actually played pretty good. Considering he's not in the game shape or, his first action for the 2020 season. But you like the fact that he's back on the field and the secondary is starting to get a little bit healthier as the season goes on.
Yeah, and really, you really saw, in all honesty, to be totally honest, you saw the same, a lot of the same old defense, but you did see some good plays. I mean, like you said, Dory Jackson coming back, his first game of the season was good to see him. He only played about 27 snaps. But it was just good to see him out there. There were a couple of times where he made plays simply back because he was in position.
That's right.
And kept the ball from being caught. So those are the type of things you really look for out of Dory. He was aggressive tackling. You didn't see any fear in him or any kind of favoring of the knee. So that all was fine and good. I mean, you got to see today. We got to see some players we hadn't seen pretty much for most of the year. Darrington Evans played today.
Actually got his first touchdown.
Well.
First touchdown in his career.
But the play for me was the screen pass.
Yes.
I thought when I saw him catch the ball and blocks were set up, and he actually showed that burst of speed that we need from him. So offensively, man, we look great. You really can't complain. Like I said, Arthur Smith didn't get cute about anything. Only down period we had was the third period. We came out, looked like we were a little stuck in the mud. Right. I will say this, though. Defense made a good play on the goal line stance. Daquan Jones caused a fumble on Swift. Will Compton picked it up. And Quisenberry learned one valuable lesson today. You don't try a cut block on pass protection, man. You got to pass protect. He gave Tannehill no chance, so that was an automatic safety. But other than that, really, that was the only major mistake you saw on offense. It's
just like tackling, man. You got to keep your head up so you can see what you're hitting. And so it's the same thing. You look down at the ground when you're trying to cut somebody, and give credit to the defense. He made a good athletic play right there, and he just caught Quisenberry in the bad position. So, like I said, first 10-win season since 2008. So you knew the Titans had to come in today and just take care of business. Take care of business against a team that wasn't on their level as far as talent-wise. The Titans definitely had a better football team between the two in the matchup, and so they had to come out, take care of business, just so they can keep pace in front of the Colts, because the Colts are playing good football, nipping at our heels, and can't afford to drop a game. And so, Lions, again, they were a tough football team, though, because they just lost by 7 points last week against the Packers. It was in that game up to the end, and so and the team playing for nothing to lose, they just come out and play free will, pretty much.
And again, today you saw what we figured would probably happen. Matt Stafford comes out, he starts the game. He actually is playing good, and had it pretty much his way for the most part because there was really no real strong pass rush on him. So like we always said, you give a veteran QB that much time, a QB with talent, it's hard to stop an offense when they're doing like that. We did great against the run once again, but as far as pass defense, it was pretty bad. Third down defense was pretty bad. But what you saw, though, really in a couple of instances where they're tightening up on in the red zone a little bit more, making them and they play pretty good, making Detroit, use every down possible. I mean, it's just that we couldn't get off the field, man. Third and 13, they rush forward, play the weak zone again, give it up, and it's the same old story. But the thing that really helped us out more than anything else is that the offense stayed ahead of it. The offense, you go back and look at it, you go down first, you score, they come back and score, we go right back down and score. They're getting ready to score again, we stop them. So, we get to move the ball back down the field. So, when you start doing things like that, you stay ahead of the team and you're forcing them to abandon their game plan to become more desperation mode. And they couldn't keep running because we were playing the run so well. So they basically were passing the ball the whole game.
Right. And, as we looked at some of the keys coming to this game was third down defense. So the Lions were 7-12 on third down. You mentioned that long the third and long that they converted on us. And, if you look back at their play, Amani Hooker was out of position in his zone. He's got to get more depth and force Stafford to hold that ball just a little bit longer. And you saw a lot of that today on some of those conversions and those third downs, people out of position.
Yeah.
For the most, Byard was out of position on the long pass that was completed on Malcolm Butler. And so, you're still seeing some of that, but you do like the fact that the tackling was still, I would say, better. It's still improving. One thing I did notice today, Grover, and I think it's the reason why the Titans can't get any pass rush, because if you look at who they got on the edge rushing, is Jack Crawford. Jack Crawford is not an edge rusher.
No.
So you got him on one side, you got Harold Landry on the other side. It's easy to see who's gonna have the potential of getting that pressure. But to me, the two people that are getting the most pressure is Tart and Jeffrey Simmons, as you saw today.
Yeah, and you saw why we missed Tart last week. I mean, he brings an extra fire in the middle of that line that we need. We're going to definitely need it next Sunday when we play against the Packers. And that's the whole thing, man. I mean, like you said, we beat that horse to death. and we could go all through it again. I will say this one thing though, because I was watching the game, and I just had a thought, because I really cannot figure out what in the world is going on with him. I'm wondering if Byard is hurt some kind of way or something, because
I don't know, man.
He really is not aggressive with his tackling this season. He's making mistakes in coverage that he normally doesn't make. So I'm really struggling trying to understand what exactly is wrong with him. And I don't know if he's got a hidden injury that, because, it's like everybody was down on Corey Davis last year, but people didn't realize he was playing with turf toe the entire season. So I'm wondering if it's the same thing with Byard. He's got an injury that, we just don't know about. And, hey, he's trying to make it as best he can.
Right. And he could be injured. That could be the fact. It could be a good factor why he's not playing. But to me, he's out of position too much, and I'm not really sure if that's a mental thing. I don't know what the issue is, but who knows? Maybe we'll find out one day. But you do like the turnovers that were forced, 3 turnovers today. But the lack of pressure, once again, is going to be an issue, especially going into this next game against Aaron Rodgers. If you give him 10 seconds to throw the ball, he's going to eat your life.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
It's
a wrap. But
I agree. Go ahead.
No. But what I was going to say was that, they got to get the pressure on the ball, and again, it's going to have to come from everywhere, because, I was even watching some of the blitzes, man, and very few of the blitzes happened where they actually came free.
Right.
A couple of times they were rushing the passer, man. I couldn't figure out, to your point that you made a couple of weeks ago, why everybody ends up going to one side. And they left a wide open lane for Matt Stafford to run through and to get the first down and everything.
Every time.
I'm like, I'm trying to understand that. It's just one of those things, man, where, you're thankful that you have a good offense.
Yeah.
It's really what you're thankful for. You're thankful that you have a strong running game. You got a strong passing game. Again, what we said really last year about Tannehill is really coming to fruition this year, in the fact that he's never, the whole time he was in Miami, he did not have this much talent around him. I mean, every week, you got a different receiver catching the ball for 100 yards.
Right.
Last week it was A.J. Brown. This week it was Corey Davis.
Exactly.
It's just one of them things you don't see very often, where you have that many weapons. I mean, you had a 3rd and long in the 4th quarter, and a 3rd and 12, and you got to convert it because you hit first on a seam route.
Yep.
Jonnu Smith making catches, getting down the field. Just like we said, Darrington Evans making that screen pass, making that catch.
Mm-hmm.
You just got loads of offensive weapon. Really, if our offensive line holds up, if they protect it a little bit better, there's no telling how many yards of passing that Tannehill can have. I mean, the protection is okay, but it's not great. But the run blocking has been pretty good.
Right, and a lot of people on here commenting about Corey Davis and what he's bringing to the table. Man, he's playing some outstanding football this year. Of course, he's in the contract year, but we knew he had the talent to play at this level. You got to think about what he's been through in his career. He had, and nothing against Mariota, but Mariota just was Mariota, right? He wasn't that type of a quarterback as Tannehill is, and went through a few different changes in offensive schemes, and now you see that this year that the tight ends are more healthy. And so, even though he's the best run blocking receiver on the football team, but you see his full aspect of his whole game. And, you love it. But I do want to say this, Grover, because we got to, talking about the talent that we have on this offense. So you got 2 young, probably 2 of the best young duos, receivers in the NFL by my account. You got a young tight end that's athletic and can run and can catch the ball. And you got a running back that's best in the league. And so it's almost kind of reminding you, if the offensive line gets healthy, of course it won't be as it was this year because of the major injuries, but you almost look at that offense as that Dallas Cowboy offense that they had. They had 2 receivers, they had a running game, they had a quarterback and a tight end and Novacek that could really throw the ball and score on anybody. And there's something good to build on this. If we can get, as Deion says, we got a Super Bowl offense and a one and done defense. But, hopefully as the defense gets healthier, they'll start doing a little bit more thing. You saw just a tad bit more press coverage today, even though, we weren't getting the pressure on the quarterback. But, hey, you got to try something. You got to do something to create some pressure on these quarterbacks, particularly here in the next few weeks. You got Aaron Rodgers coming up next week. You got Deshaun Watson after that. And then depending on where you finish in the seeding for the playoffs, who you got in that first round.
Yeah, so, you could be seeing Baker Mayfield again or something.
You could be seeing Baker Mayfield again.
But here's the thing, and I agree with you, as far as on the offensive weapons. I mean, we said it last year, and it's proven to fruition after Tannehill took over.
Yeah.
This receiving core is the best receiving core that the Titans have ever had.
Yes.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Tight ends, wide receivers, even running backs. Derrick Henry is even better catching the ball out the backfield, even though people are just making sure they stick with him so he doesn't get anywhere with it. But overall, you look at this offense, it's dynamic. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it starts and finishes with Derrick Henry. He's going to have to run it. And that's one thing I like what Arthur Smith did today. Like I said, he didn't hide anything. He just flat out, okay, we're going to run the ball. That's what we do.
That's exactly what he did.
And that's what you're supposed to do. It's going to be the same way. It's got to be the same way against Green Bay. I mean, they're going to give you their best. You got to be willing to give them your best. There's no trickery to this. Just play be who you are. Run the ball.
Right.
But I would say this: Shane Bowen and Vrabel got to come up with a way to manufacture pressure. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
They got to They did a little bit more disguising today than against Stafford, which I know contributed to the fact that he had to hold the ball longer.
Still couldn't get there.
But you got to get the pressure in there to make him get rid of it.
Right. Exactly.
Because make him throw the ball short,
mm-hmm.
or make him throw it away. But you got to do something, because right now, with all the time, you give Aaron Rodgers that much time, and he's going to already buy time with his feet anyway, because he's a runner. So you give him that much time, man, he's going to eat you alive.
Exactly. And one question that Ed McKinnon has, he says, which Titans offense is the best, the 2003 offense or the 2020 offense?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
That's a good one, but I will say this: I was probably more so now than the 2003, and that's simply because overall, there's just a lot more talent in the skill positions
I agree.
than we had in 2003.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom, there's just more talent. Matter of fact, I will guarantee you this: if we had that offensive line from 2003 playing today, it'd be ugly.
Derrick Henry had 2,000 yards already.
Yeah, I mean, you looking at Derrick Henry running the ball. I mean, he had 147 yards today.
Right.
Back on top with angry runs again. So,
oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. So let's talk about him, man, because I'm telling you, and I know everybody else sees it. I know they do. He is running with a different purpose. I mean, he is hitting that hole, aggressively. And, who was that? It was 4-3 for the Lions. I meant to get his name before the show started. But he made a bad decision. You saw the secondary making a lot of decisions to take bad angles to get out of his way because he is running with a purpose. And, man, I'm telling you, you get this offense churning the way they are, and the defense can make a stop or two here and there, it's going to be a tough out for somebody. Somebody's going to have a tough story to deal with.
Well, and what you find, and again, they work off each other, offense, the running game and the passing game.
Right.
But what we're finding out is that while they don't operate independently of each other, when you have them both going effectively, it's an offense that's hard to stop. Yep. I mean, you may slow the running game down a little bit, but as we've seen throughout the season and we saw in the playoffs last year, that stopping Derrick Henry is easier said than done. I mean, you got people he's running against 8 and 9 man boxes.
You saw it today.
Pretty much all game long. And it's so much so that you're not even surprised that it's an 8-man box. When you see 9, and sometimes you even seen 10 in the box to try to make sure that you contain them. And he's still getting positive yards. So the one thing that really bugged me in the third quarter today, though, was them consistently running to the right side of the formation, which I thought your power runs to the left was what was working.
Yeah.
So I was a little perturbed by that. Although don't get me wrong, Davis and Kelly did a good job, but for the most part, the Lions were getting penetration on that side. So I thought that was a mistake to do.
Yeah, we and there's a chance for this football team, Grover, and Will, you brought it up. I saw it earlier, man. I'm sorry I didn't get it on, but to have 2 1,000-yard receivers, a 2,000-yard running back, and a 4,000-yard passer, which is unheard of in these days and time, because a lot of the NFL executives and teams don't value the run game as much as they should be, and you see this team is a run first team. And they're going to feed Derrick Henry, and it works off of the run game, like you just mentioned. And so, that'd be an awesome feat if that happens. I don't know if Derrick Henry would get 2,000 yards, but, there is a possibility he could. Now, he'd have to get, he's at 16, 70, 79 right now, I think.
16, 79.
Yeah, and so, you think about 150 here and a little bit more of 100 in the next game, and then he's there pretty close to it anyway. But yeah, so, again, a Super Bowl talented offense, a defense that, again, you saw turnovers today, which is great, but you have to get some pressure, be able to manufacture pressure and get off the field on third down. Those are the main things. You can get off the field on third down and create some pressure. I think, we'll be okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing about it. I saw an article somebody had put out there, like, you don't have to have a top-notch defense when you got an offense that's really rolling like we are. I mean, 5th straight game over 400 yards of total offense and over 30-plus points. So, I see what they're saying. The good thing about our team, I will say this, is the fact that sometimes our offense is our best defense because we can grind it. Right. We're not just a quick strike offense, although we can do that. So those type of things help you out when you're used to just making a grind out of it, getting 3 yards here, 5 yards here, 6 yards here, and you're able to keep going because you got weapons all over the place that can make the catches you need to get the first downs to keep the drive alive. So, but you still need a defense that's going to be able to make some stops. And that's where we are struggling at right now. And like I said, if we had a good defense, a middle of the pack defense, we would have probably wrapped up the AFC South a couple of weeks ago.
Correct.
So it's just one of those things, man. But again, it's a lot going on. As long as we can keep moving the ball and scoring, keep driving. Next week is going to be a real test. The next 2 weeks, really. Yeah. Because I mean, you got to go against Aaron Rodgers. We're going to have to be able to move the ball. We're going to have to be able to match them because they're going to move the ball, and they got a good running game. So we'll get to see really how strong our run defense really is. I mean, don't get me wrong. We went good against Cleveland. You held Nick Chubb to 80 yards. So we went good against them. But, we got to be ready to tackle that beast, that monster they got in Green Bay. And one thing you notice since Derrick Henry has been on the road, you see these teams with bigger running backs. They're going out trying to find them because they see what damage Derrick Henry is doing. So you see what Green Bay has, just like with Indianapolis going out getting your boy from Wisconsin, Jonathan Taylor, who's running the ball extremely well right now. So people are trying to find those big backs and everything. So it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. Next Sunday, prime time, we'll just have to wait and see, man, and see what we can do against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and go out to, like you said, our offense is going to be our best defense, controlling the clock, imposing our will, controlling the pace of the game. And one thing, I'll say this about the offense, and then we can move on, is that you like that we can play different styles of offense. And you mentioned it, it's 2-minute offense. We can play 2-minute. We can grind you out, and we can even play coming in from deep in our territory and drive the ball down the field. So you like that this offense can play any kind of style, if you will, if it has to. And you need all of those going into the playoffs. And if we could just, like we've been saying, add a stop or two on third down or create some turnovers or, do some things like that and get off the field and make some stops, we can go down and score. We can go down and score with anybody. And that's one thing about Arthur Smith, like you mentioned. He didn't get cute today. He stuck to the game plan. He stuck to the character of this football team, and they came out and handled business today as they should have. And so 10-4, great. Still got 2 more games left to really lock it up. And a tough matchup Sunday night, like you said, against the Packers. 11-3, the frozen tundra Lambeau Field. I'm sure it's going to be icebox cold out there or even more. They come off a victory over the Panthers 24-16 last night. What can you say, man? Aaron Rodgers having an MVP season, over 3,800 yards passing, which is 3rd in the league and 1st in touchdowns. Aaron Jones, like you mentioned, the run game, 4th in the NFL in rushing. Devontae Adams is his favorite target, his main guy, 3rd in the league in receiving. So they have a 3-headed monster like we have one. We have 4-headed monster if you want to count it that way. And so it's going to be a matchup, man, that could be high-powered scoring, or it could be a defensive struggle, meaning the defense can't stop the offense in some cases.
That's true. And the thing is, the one good thing about the Titans, and it was the same way when you look back at it in the playoffs last year, one thing we kept saying, we have an offense that will travel. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's sun shining, if it's snowing, or whatever the case may be. We have an offense that will travel. I mean, we have a running game, and a running game works no matter where you go. It's just one of those constant. That's why everybody wants to develop a strong running game, because it works wherever you go. And when you get into this time of season, in the winter, you got to go to Lambeau Field. You got to be able to run the ball because A.J. Brown and Corey Davis are going to have to take some hits catching the ball. And A.J. Brown is still favoring his ankle.
Yeah.
You saw that today.
Yep.
So, but the thing about it is, what you've noticed about this team, which is, I guess, I always say is really good, is the fact that for the past couple of weeks, it's been alternating. Like I said, last week, A.J. Brown had the big game. This week, Corey Davis has the big game. So it just keeps alternating. And, you got Johnny Smith more involved in the offense this time. So you look for him to be more involved with the offense coming against Green Bay.
He's getting healthy.
Again, our best defense is going to be our offense moving the ball, moving the chains, driving it, and wearing down that Green Bay defense. And hopefully we can win. But we got to understand, we're going against our former OC who pretty much knows our players and everything. So he's going to pick us apart. So we have got to come up with something that's going to actually work and hopefully slow that Packer offense down.
Yeah, and I would agree to that to an extent. The only reason I say that is because this team is different. We got a different quarterback. We've added some things to the offense. So, but like you said, he knows how to attack the defense. I mean, Vrabel was the coach then. He still is now. Different scheme-wise as for what we had the last couple of years. But, it's going to be a different challenge. And so I'm going to tell you who's really going to get tested in this football game beside the defense is Quisenberry and Kelly. So Zadarius Smith is 3rd in the NFL in sacks. He's got 11.5. so they can get out to the quarterback. You know, you got the number 3 offense that the Packers have, the number 8 defense. And so to win this game, they have to make it hard on Aaron Rodgers. He can't sit back there and be able to just pick and choose which receiver he wants to throw to and when to throw it to him. They got to pressure the pocket. They got to win third down. It's very important to win third down and get off the field. Play tight coverage. You know, Dory come back this week. You know, Fulton, hopefully he can play this week. I know he practiced this past week. Hopefully he's on the field. That'll give us some more speed in secondary. Of course, he won't be in game shape, but you know, a little better is better than nothing, right?
Well, you can and just think about hopefully we get Vaccaro back.
Right. Hopefully Vaccaro's back.
And the thing about it is, man, you're exactly right. But the thing about it is, I know Green Bay's defense is good. They're not as great against the run as they are against the pass. So that's one advantage we have. You know, we're going to run the ball. Again, it's going to be imperative for Arthur Smith not to get cute, for that offensive line to come off firing, Derrick Henry to run the ball with a purpose. And you know, it's not even about the 2,000 yards. I really don't care if he gets 2,000 or not. I'm more concerned about us running the ball effectively and winning this game.
Right.
You know, if he gets 2,000, he gets it. If he don't, he don't. But you know, we have got to be able to move the ball and drive the ball on the Green Bay Packers, and that's going to be hard. It's going to be, and I'm looking forward to the matchup simply because, again,
it's a measuring stick, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. It's a measuring stick, and you get to see the team how they're gonna prepare and how they're gonna be ready for it. I like Vrabel's attitude. You know, somebody asked him about getting over the hump of not having winning 10 games instead of being 9-7 again. He said 10 games only give you an opportunity to win 11.
That's right.
So I can deal with that.
That's exactly right.
I can deal with that. You know, and that's what we got to do. We got to keep that mindset. It doesn't matter about the 10 wins. Right now, we got to go out and try to beat Green Bay. The only thing about it is Indianapolis has to play Pittsburgh early. So that'd be one of the first games. So we'll know where we stand.
I know where you're going with that, man, because it could make a big difference on, you know, how you play the game and who plays in the game. And you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Yeah. So that's you know, you kind of wish they were playing at the same time, but you know, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And like I said, win third down, play tight coverage. I think we can play more. And I think Eddie Great Man appreciate the comment. He says he wish we play more press coverage, more press man coverage. I think we can. I think we should this game. You know, Malcolm Butler, he can present some problems. So Devontae Adams, I'm not saying he can stop him, but he can at least slow him down, you know, prevent him from getting wide open so much, create turnovers. We talked about that as well. Offense, we got to protect Tannehill. Quisenberry, Kelly's gonna have a hard time with that front. They're good at rushing the passer. Derrick Henry, if he plays, if it is a game that we can, you know, if it doesn't matter, if it does matter still, run him 25 to 30 carries a game for the game. Yeah. You see as he gets going, he gets moving, and then play action and take the deep shots to loosen up the defense, because you know they're gonna be crowding the box, playing 10 up strong, close to the box line of scrimmage, and they're gonna be biting on that run, and the play action should be wide open.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to be a game of ball possession. So we're going to be able to move the ball, possess the ball, move it down the field. I mean, you can't expect what we did today to happen against Green Bay. I mean, I think we had 3 drives of 80+ yards.
Yeah,
you know, that doesn't happen very often. But what you got to be able to do is do better than what we did today. Is take advantage of the turnovers that you get. You know, both turnovers that we got, both fumble recoveries, we didn't take advantage of them. Right. We ended up, we gave up a safety on one and ended up having to punt on the other. So you got to take advantage of those, because those opportunities give you a chance to move ahead of the game and be in front. And it's well known that we're much better front running as far as the score is concerned, as opposed to trying to catch up.
Right. And, you know, if they get in front and get the lead, it's hard, because we can run the ball. We can eat the clock up, control the pace of the game. And, you know, and they got that play action where they hit A.J. Brown, even Corey Davis today on those little in routes where they break and let them run down the field and get that yak. And so you got those plays, you got to use them. And, you know, again, come out this week, come out next week like they did this week. Don't be cute. Stick to the game plan, run the football, be physical up front. Play action, get it to your receivers, to your tight ends, you know, and make some plays down the field. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G. Witt, Titans
tighten up, baby.
Beat the Lions 46-25, 10-4 in the year, double-digit wins, first time since 2008. Got to go on the road Sunday night, prime time against the Packers, Lambeau Field.
Defensively, man, I know we're talking about the coverage and everything, but the main thing, in all honesty, tackling. We got to tackle.
Got to be able to tackle.
Because what Green Bay is good about is actually getting runs after the catch. We have got to tackle and hold them to the yardage that they get on the catch, and that's it. And like I said, I'm not sure what's going on with Kevin Byard, but I do know that we're going to have to be more aggressive with our tackling, getting people down, not waiting for them to turn around and face us, but go ahead and make the tackle and wrap up and get it out the way. Like I said, hopefully we get Kenny Vaccaro back because he's good as far as that's concerned. And having Adoree' back helps out a lot. Malcolm Butler will be able to play physical against Davante Adams, but also it's going to be about making sure that safety help us over the top. You don't get beat because Davante Adams is going to be Davante Adams. You don't stop Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. You just try to contain them as best you can and again give your team a chance to get off the field.
Right.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, and one thing we got to mention too is the size of the receivers that the Packers have. Davante Adams is big, but Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he's a big receiver as well, and can run. I can't even say his first name without messing up, but St. Brown, so he's big. And Robert Tonyan. So they got some weapons, man. They got some weapons. It's gonna be tough. And with it being a Sunday night game next week, Grove, it's gonna interfere with our coming on time, and so. Halftime? Can you do a halftime next week? Got some folks asking the question. Now, here's the rule though. Here's the rule at halftime. If the game is going well, we'll get on and I'll let Grover talk. If it's not, then now we'll be on at halftime and we'll probably have to do the show on Monday night if the schedule works out. But we'll put something out to let you guys know that. But definitely we'll jump on at halftime next Sunday night and then. Monday, and then we'll put that time out. But thank you guys again for joining us for another episode of Halftime Adjustments. Eddie Arnell, G Witt, tighten up, man. 45-26 over the Lions going to the frozen tundra next Sunday night, prime time. Be there. Join us at halftime of that game. We'll be on live, Halftime Adjustments. Thank you again for the love, support of the show, and then check us out for halftime next week, and then we'll come back on Monday night, recap the game, and we'll give you the time. Look for that on Facebook as we post it, and we'll be here, man. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead. You got something?
No. I was gonna say, it should be good. Hopefully, we play well. This game, I will be honest with you. The game today had me more nervous than anything because Matthew Stafford was just one of those guys. I just know he's a gunslinger, but we were able to jump out ahead of him and stay ahead of him. Even though they tied the game up on their first drive. So I'm looking forward to next week to see how we play. It's going to be a barometer. One thing I'm pretty sure about is that either we're going to win the division or we'll be a wild card. One of the two.
One of the two. You hope we win the division, so at least get one playoff game at home.
Yeah. So, and that's the whole key.
Yeah.
You want to get one playoff game at home. You want to be able to win. Maybe you get two playoff games at home. You don't know, but in order for that to happen, Buffalo would have to drop a game, and I don't see that happening with them anytime soon. So,
a lot could happen in the next few weeks.
Well,
there's
true.
A lot of big games on the line still.
Yeah. Everybody's got a lot of games, but it's just going to depend, man. I mean, it's just one of them things, man, that you just like, you love. I put it like this: it's still good to be having meaningful football.
That's right.
December.
That's exactly right. With 2 more weeks left, meaningful football, and a lot on the line, a lot to play for. And they did touch him. Deon said they needed to touch Stafford on his rib. They touched him. That's why they had to take him out of the game.
Well, that's what happened. Tark hit him, and then Jeffrey Simmons hit him, and that was it. They're like, okay, he's done. Because after Tark hit him, man, he
almost didn't get up.
He was moving slow. Then Big Jeff hit him and knocked him down, and after that, he was like, okay, we're taking him out. Which I don't blame him, but but again, it's going to be interesting to see how we play because again, going against the Green Bay. They got a good running game. We got to, our defensive line is going to come to play on that run stop. Rashad Evans is going to have a better game. David Long Jr., Roberson, everybody's just got to come to play, man, and be ready to go. And we got to get some pressure on the quarterback on Aaron Rodgers. If we don't, man, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, you could possibly see a shootout, 35-31, 28-24 in that range. Both teams scoring 31-28. You can see one of those type games, and whoever can make the most stops at the end, because it's going to possibly win the football game. And so, go ahead.
Because that's the way it went. I mean, look at what they did with the Colts. They had the Colts down, and then the Colts came out in the second half, shut them down, and then made a game out of it, went into overtime, and Green Bay turns the ball over. So, and the Colts defense is really a lot better than ours. So, we're going to get better than, come with a good game plan and everything defensively to slow them down and let our offense go to work with the running game and everything. It's going to be interesting to see how we run up there in the frozen tundra with Green Bay, knowing we're coming, knowing we're running, and see how they stack the box against us.
Now, I don't know what the weather's going to be for that night, but I know it's hard to tackle a 250-pound running back when it's 30 degrees or below that.
Well, one thing we do know, and we can say this for sure, that if the Titans are ahead in the fourth quarter and it's cold up there, Derrick Henry's probably getting ready to have a good game because, like you said, they don't want to tackle him when it's cold like that. He's running like he's running. I mean, he's running hard.
He's running 30 degrees and snow, Jabbar says. Thank you again for joining us for another episode of Halftime with Junkies. Join us Sunday night halftime with the Packers versus the Titans. Frozen tundra of Lambeau. Frozen tundra of Lambeau. Head out there, G-Wit, man. We out of here. We'll see y'all next Sunday night halftime of the game.
Peace.